It's new car time of the week again on Forza Horizon 5. This week they've introduced the 911 Dakar as the second Porsche in Porsche month. As is usually the case with new introductions to the game, to unlock it all you have to do is go to the festival playlist and complete 20 points in this week's challenges. It's the autumn season and you have until next Thursday to go and obtain this vehicle if you haven't already. Again, for 40 points you can get another backstage pass. To get to my 20 points for the Porsche though, I've done the Porsching the Button trial, which currently shows as locked because we're over in the rally expansion. I've also done the treasure hunt, the photo challenge, the collectibles, and the 2 monthly rivals at the beginning of the series. Next week we have the third of the Porsche 911s, the GT3R, and then the 935 and the new 911 Turbo in spring season. Let's head over to the cars tab though before we talk about the 911 a bit more to see what's available for Backstage Pass. I've gone and, bought another one in the Forza shop, so let's see what won the vote last time round. I think the Ford GT and the Koenigsegg, or was that previously? The Lamborghinis are also relatively new here. Must have been those, right? I obviously haven't checked this very recently. These 4 have been added in the last couple of weeks anyway. The voting for next time is either a GTR Nismo and E92 M3 GTS, or an SVJ and a Jag. That's difficult, because personally I'm not that interested in the GTR or the Lambo, but that BMW and that Jag I quite like both of. I would quite like another E92, so let's go with that. Back to the Not a Dakar then, complete with its Not a Rothmans livery, of course. Strangely, Hot Wheels also call their version of this car the Rally, so there must be some kind of legal or licensing issue there, I think. From what I understand, the Rally starts life as a fairly standard model of 911. It produces 473 brake horsepower, weighs 1,611 kilos, and as you may expect, is one of the four-wheel drive variants of the 911. The Dakar, though, has been made more off-roadable, of course harking back to the old Baja Beetle, with some raised suspension, rugged-looking front and rear diffusers, and side skirts, as well as, most importantly of course, a roof rack, which gives you space to carry many things. Back at the festival then, the Porsche is obviously available in the Not a Rothmans livery, but also in black, silver, which I actually think looks really good on this for some reason, another silver, which also looks really good, but I prefer that one, a rather nice sort of greeny colour, a blue, which I think is actually a bit too bright, and a white. So for the time being, I think that's my favourite of the manufacturer colours. But one thing that's annoying with this, if we try and zoom in a bit, the wheels sort of have a weird tinge to them. So the only way you can really get round this, I think, is to paint them in a colour somewhere on here. Can we paint them in a silver? Will that work? I'll either go with that or I'll go with a matte black. So if you do it with brushed aluminium, you sort of lose that weird shimmer that they had on them, which you may not have even really noticed. It's quite a subtle thing. That looks much better though. Or alternatively, if you went over here, you could also do them in matte black, if we can find that quickly. And turn the brightness all the way down. Let's go with that. And then make the brake calipers match. Perfect. I think as a quick first paint job, that looks pretty good. So then, the developers did actually show some of the visual customization that is available for this 911 Rally back when they did the Let's Go stream. But in case you didn't see what that is, basically you can put the standard canards on the front, which isn't that exciting, but you can not only remove the roof rack, but you could also, if you wanted to, fit a roof tent or put Forza Era one. But yeah, it's kind of cool that the roof tent and roof rack that are offered from factory by Porsche are both available here. For the time being though, let's leave the roof rack on, because I think that actually looks the best. It's kind of a shame we can't put like jerry cans and tyres on there, but anyway, you can make the side skirts painted and look more like a standard 911 if you want, but That doesn't really match with the front or rear diffusers or bumpers or whatever they are, so again, I'm going to leave that standard, but it is kind of cool that that's an option. And, of course, we have rally lights, if you want to put those on the bonnet. As well as that, there are of course some engine swaps. There's only two. There's a 3.8 litre flat 6 twin turbo or a 4.6 litre V8 hybrid out of a 918. There is also of course a rear wheel drive conversion, but one of the defining features of the Rally is that it's 4-wheel drive, so I can't think why anyone would do that. There's plenty of rear wheel drive 911s in this game already. You can of course also change your tyres, tyre widths, track widths if you want to fill your arches a bit, and things like that, as well as your drivetrain, platform and handling options, and engine upgrades. With full weight reduction, you can get weight down as low as 1,345 kilos, which isn't too bad considering we've still got the roof rack equipped. And fully upgraded, the standard engine will put out 736 brake horsepower. Here in Horizon 5, it's conveniently right at the top of A-Class, with a rating of 800 from standard, so before going in search or applying any tunes to the car, we headed into some A-Class dirt races, with only a lick of off-road suitable matte green paint to change the car from standard, kind of knowing though that this car would probably not be completely brilliant. So we joined for the second race of a series at the Mangrove Scramble, only to find that the entire grid was filled by this new car. Whatever happened here then, the Dakar was guaranteed a good result. Having said that, our completely stock cars occupied the last 4 places, with the top 3 occupied by the randoms. For our next race at the Cascada Sprint, an 8th Dakar joined, and in this one I again finished in a very average 4th place, although Yobbo managed to sneak his way onto the podium here. We then headed into a second full set of dirt races with the Dakar. By this point though, none of us were really enjoying it on the dirt, so Supertree left, and Yobbo went in a different car, which was substantially better as it turned out than the Dakar. Yobbo though got unlucky with the checkpoint in the first race, but unsurprisingly the Ford Focus then won the second race ahead of the 4 Rallies. And then in the final race a Bugatti won, with the Ford Focus in second, both of them though beating all 4 of the Rallies again. So, although not actually too awful, it wasn't terribly fun to race this in its stock configuration, so we went and equipped an A-Class Purist Road Tune from K1Z Bard, bringing power up to 491 brake horsepower and weight down to 1,589 kilos, neither of these being a huge change given it was already at the top of A-Class. This tune also left the Dakar without a roof rack, but with the spotlights on the front. The first race with this tune applied was dismal. I drove horrendously, missed a checkpoint, and was violently killed by a horrible little car on the finish line. The second race at the Reservorio Sprint was somewhat better. The Porsche was up to 4th by the end of the first straight, and then I gradually got overtaken by the rest of the field, eventually ending up in 6th by the finish. It was beginning to seem then like the new 911 was very average at road racing, with a tune as well as dirt racing. This was the end of a set of races though, so I went and did one more, but with only 4 other racers, one of whom left almost immediately. I ended up 3rd out of the 4 remaining racers in that first event. Then in the second race at the San Juan Sprint, I also finished 3rd, but this was out of 3 people. The final race was at the Horizon Mexico circuit though, and the Porsche seemed to very much favour faster speed tracks, so this was a lot more successful. I found myself in 2nd almost straight away, with just 1 Lotus up ahead. The Lotus did quickly extend their lead and won by a considerable margin by the end, but this was still the best result that the Dakar managed in either dirt or road racing. Overall then, as cool as this car is, it's not great, as I think a lot of people predicted after driving the car in monthly rivals. That though is going to do it for a very first look at the Porsche 911, definitely not a Dakar, here in Forza Horizon 5. In reality, this is probably my favourite of the 4 Porsches that are being introduced in this month. I just think there's something incredibly cool about taking something that's traditionally a high-performance road vehicle and making it off-road. Just look at it, it's brilliant. I love that idea. Here in Forza, it also has some interesting paint options. I do think it's a shame that it's rough roads, not Rothmans, but that's the same on the real car. and it has some of the real-world customization and visual parts that you can, well, equip to this car from factory, which is kind of cool, but as kind of predicted, it is just a bit average at racing. Firstly, dirt racing stock was kind of predictably not great, but with the tune applied in A-Class Road, it wasn't all that much better either. So yeah, like I said, after the racing, I've put mine back to standard, and I'm just going to enjoy it as a thing to blast about the Horizon 5 map with. As ever though, do let me know your thoughts on this brand new addition to Forza Horizon 5, but for today's video that's going to be all, so thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next one very soon.